The vast flagship of the Zoran Dominion drifted at the edge of the Terran system, its hull bristling with weapons large enough to crack moons. Commander Vale stood at the observation deck, his mandibles clicking in smug satisfaction. Before him, a holographic projection displayed the incoming Terran fleet, tiny, angular ships compared to the colossal carriers of the Dominion. Vale laughed, his deep voice carrying across the chamber. These are the Terran warships? Small, underarmed, pathetic. They look like gnats compared to our cruisers. The gathered officers joined in his amusement. The Dominion had conquered countless systems, crushing all resistance beneath their superior firepower. They expected Earth to be no different. But not everyone in the chamber shared their laughter. Strategist Jir shifted uneasily, his eyes narrowing at the Terran formation. Commander, their ships are strangely compact. Notice how they cluster tightly and move with precision. They don't resemble the clumsy armadas we've fought before. Vale waved a dismissive claw. Compact? It only means they pack less power. Watch as they scatter before the might of the Dominion. Moments later, the first volleys were exchanged. Dominion cannons unleashed searing beams, tearing into space where the Terrans had been a heartbeat earlier. With impossible agility, the smaller Terran ships weaved between the blasts, darting like predators. The Dominion's laughter faltered. Impossible, an officer whispered. They're maneuvering, no ship that size should turn so quickly. Then the Terrans fired back. At first, their weapons seemed weak, flashes of light rather than world-ending beams. But those flashes struck with surgical precision, slicing into weak points of the Dominion warships. Sensor arrays, shield nodes, engine vents. Massive ships suddenly shuddered, blinded, crippled, unable to respond. Within minutes, 3 Dominion cruisers were disabled. Vale slammed a claw against the console, his earlier smugness gone. How can such tiny ships strike so hard? First voice was grim. Because, Commander, humans don't build ships to look impressive. They build them to kill. The Terran fleet closed in, their movements synchronized like a hunting pack. Where Dominion warships lumbered, human vessels flowed, each covering the other, each strike planned 3 steps ahead. It was not brute force that cut through the Dominion line, but ruthless efficiency, born from centuries of surviving a hostile world. A sudden alert blared through the Dominion flagship. One of the pathetic Terran frigates had broken formation and was accelerating directly toward them. They're charging us? Vale barked in disbelief. A single ship against the flagship? Destroy it. Weapons locked on, beams lanced out. But the human ship spun, rolled, and slipped through every volley. It was small, yes, but small enough to dance between death. And then, just as it closed the gap, the frigate did something unthinkable. It launched boarding pods. The Dominion crew gasped. Boarding the flagship was suicide. But the pods hit. The hull screamed as breaches opened. Within moments, humans in armored suits flooded the corridors, weapons blazing. They didn't hesitate, didn't flinch. They carved a path through warriors twice their size, their movements brutal and efficient. On the bridge, alarms wailed. Vale's mandibles quivered as the realization sank in. The humans had turned their small and pathetic ship into a dagger aimed straight at his heart. The doors burst open. Smoke and sparks filled the air as human soldiers stormed inside, rifles raised. At their head strode a woman in dark combat armor, her helmet retracting to reveal cold, determined eyes. "You wanted to see what humans bring to war," she said flatly. "Now you'll learn." Vale tried to speak, but the words caught in his throat. The woman leveled her weapon, and in that frozen moment, the alien commander understood the truth too late. The Terran warships were small, yes, but in their size lay speed, precision, and a cruelty honed by necessity. They weren't designed for intimidation, they were designed for victory. And as the Dominion fleet burned around him, Commander Vale realized the most terrifying fact of all. Humanity's true weapon was not their ships, but the humans inside them.